In this lesson, we're going to talk about the transformations of different objects on a coordinate plane. So a transformation is a change in a figure's position or sometimes size, although if it's a size, we call it a dilation. Okay, the size is a dilation. But we're not talking about dilations today. We're going to just talk about a transformation, and that just means that we're changing the figure's position. A translation is going to have the resulting figure is going to be congruent or the same size as the original figure. So a translation is also sometimes called a slide because it slides a figure along a line without turning. And if you're given the figure on a coordinate plane, you can just see that it's slid over, and because the orientation of it is exactly the same. Now, if you're given the coordinates of each of the vertices, you see the rules down here. If you move right a number of units, then you're going to add however many units you move to the x-axis. If you move left, you're going to subtract the number of units from the x-axis because x moves left and right. If you move up, obviously you're going to add a number to the y-axis, and if you move down, you're going to subtract from the y-axis. A reflection is a flip, all right? So a reflection just flips a figure across the line to create a mirror image, okay? So most of the time, you're with what we're doing, our line of reflection is going to be either the x or the y-axis, okay? The x goes left to right or the y. So in this one here, you'll see that it flipped it so you know how if you look in a mirror, your reflection is going to be exactly opposite of what you are. If you raise your right hand on the mirror, it looks like you're raising your left hand, okay, and so on. So the same thing goes if we're with the coordinates. If you flip it across the y-axis, then your x-coordinate is going to change signs, all right? And if you flip it across the x-axis, your y-coordinate is going to change the signs. Okay, so it goes, in this case, it's going to go from, we're flipping it across, because the original is the red, because it has the A, the B, and the C, and then the other one is A prime, B prime, and C prime, okay? And so A goes from 1, 1 to negative 1, 1. B goes from 1, 4 to negative 1, 4. And C goes from 3, 4 to negative 3, 4. So we change the sign. A rotation turns a figure, okay, around a point called the center of rotation. And a lot of times we're going to use the origin right here in the middle for our center of rotation, okay? And so it's almost, sometimes it looks like it's a double flip or a double reflection. Okay, the little rotation, the rules here. If you rotate it 180 degrees, which is like what we have up here, you're going to multiply both coordinates by -1. So it becomes x and y becomes negative x and negative y. If you go 90 degrees clockwise to the right, you're going to multiply each x coordinate by -1 and then switch the x and the y coordinates. And 90 degrees counterclockwise, you're going to multiply each y coordinate by -1 and then switch the x and the y coordinates. So the rotation, this down here is the most complicated one of all of them. Okay, so is this a translation, a reflection, or a rotation? Well, if you look here, All right, we're going from the black to the blue. All right, and everything is, it's not flipped around or turned or anything. It's just slid across. Okay, so we just slid it straight up like that. All right, it didn't change it, and so this is a translation. Okay, is this a translation, a reflection, or a rotation? Well, because it didn't flip across any of the axis, you notice that it's a different orientation. So this is a rotation. It's a rotation. It went all the way around like this, which is 180 degrees. So it's a rotation of 180 degrees. This is, we just reflected it across the y-axis. Okay, so we're going to say it's a reflection across the y-axis. So, and sometimes we're going to get specific. So in this case, I'm going to say a reflection across the y-axis. Here I said we rotated 180 degrees. And here it was a translation. And what did we translate? We translated it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces right. And so it's a multiple translation, 6 right and 1, 2 up. Okay. Now, what transformation takes place that moves from point A of 1, 2 to the point 4, 2? So what did we do? Well, the x changed from 1 to 4. So that would be, means that we added 3 to the x value. Okay. So if we add something to the x value, that means we moved right 3 spaces, which means that it is a translation. Okay. Next one, what transformation takes place that moves from point A from 1, 2 to the point -1, 2? Once again, the only thing that changed is the x value changed, the y value stayed the same. So that means that we changed the sign of the x value, which is a reflection across the y-axis. Okay, so that's a reflection. If we look at the notes, reflection across the y-axis. All right, and then the last one says, what transformation takes place that moves point A from 1, 2 to -1, -2? And so if we look at our notes, that means we moved both of them. All right, and if we, so that means it's going to be a rotation. Okay, and how many degrees? Well, because we went from a +1, +2 to -1, -2, that means we multiplied both coordinates by -1, change the sign of both the coordinates. So we rotated it 180 degrees. All right, so that's it for this particular lesson. Make sure that you've copied down all of those notes, especially the little boxes that tell you how it the transformation impacts the points on a coordinate plane. So we'll talk to y'all later.